Is it live yet?
Yeah, we are live.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the COE exclusive pro bono session. And today we have Dipanshu Srivastava, who is a well professional in project management domain, and he has been a versatile experience in the technologies and also in the management. Welcome, Dipanshu. And today, Dipanshu will be sharing his experience and challenges and how he has paved his way through the project management domain. With his experience and with his insights, we'll be acknowledging how one can be educating themselves or one can be preparing themselves for the project management domain or one can excel themselves in the management domain. Welcome, Dipanshu. Over to you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Prem, for that introduction, and thanks everyone for making time to join. So basically, the idea behind I was thinking for quite some time to plan a series on project management because many people ask me, okay, can we know about it? What are the basics? What are the fundamentals? How to, if somebody wants to make a move, how to do that? And what's the field all about, basically? So it's more like a buzzword to me. So I thought then maybe I will plan some kind of series for that. And this is one of the first series session which I have planned for today. And maybe if we have time permits, maybe we can plan the next weekend, maybe for few days, few Saturdays or few weekends. We'll do this thing just to ensure that everybody who is an interested person, they gets a know-how and the knack of how the project management space works and what's it's all about, basically. And I will start from everything, from the basic, from feeling that everybody uh, are curious, but they don't know anything. So I will make it very simple, clear, and try to make it from basic till advanced where I can take it to. So I will share my screen, guys, and you can just let me know when my screen is visible. Okay, just give me a minute, please. I can share, right, Prem? Yeah, okay. Okay, please let me know when my screen is visible.
Yeah, it's visible, Anshu.
Okay, great. Right. Okay, so Joy of project management, introduction to project management. We will be covering today that what is a project, what is the difference between project and operations, what are triple constraints, not many things we will be discussing today. So the first question, so what is a project management? And before that, coming to this question, important thing is what is a project? This is uh, what's actually a project. So project is something, this is one of a very important questions also which people ask. People say that is project anything which you do in a software world only, so that is a project. So my simple answer is no. Project is anything which you are doing in your life. If you just have a look around yourself and you see that each and everything you are doing is a project. You don't know it, but you are doing it in a way. I will take a very simple example. If you are shifting from one say city to another, or maybe you're shifting within a city from one place, you're moving your house there, so it is a project. And how it is a project? Because project basically has few features. It has a start date, it has an end date. We will discuss that later, but just to give you a brief there, it has a start date, it has an end date, it has a scope. What we are doing, it's well defined. What we have to move the house from one place to another, it is well defined. It has a kind of budget. You will call anyone like Packers and Movers, or say Agarwal Packers and Movers, or many others, and we would paying some amount, some budget would be there, and they would be then helping you in that, and then moving your house, you would say within one day or same day or next day, whatever they are in that case. That is an example of a project. In different sense, if we talk about, if you would have seen in scenarios, Facebook, you would have seen a very, or Instagram for that matter, it is a project. It is a project. It is something which has a scope, which has a feature. When it was conceptualized or when it was thought about, it became a project. Or a more, I would say, common example, people used to use Nokia phones, right? Nokia 1100, or we used to call it, that very heavy phone. It was so heavy that people had to, it was no less than a brick, but it was very durable also. So that was maybe 20 years back. But then one day Steve Jobs thought that we will launch a smart screen or smart screen phone. So that became also a kind of project. So that is something which is keep on happening. So in short, project is anything. If you look around yourself, planning a birthday party, even a holy celebration, if you have planned in your societies, some celebration would have been planned for 2 hours. There's a duration for this budget, so some snacking and something and partying and enjoying our DJ and all that stuff. So that is also a part of this thing. Now this is a project. Managing this thing how in a manner that it goes well and it is going in a fashion that there are minimum to zero hiccups there in the entire execution. The management is called the project management of that. So project management is a practice of planning, organizing, or executing the task needing to turn a brilliant idea. Steve Jobs' idea came to him, and then he converted it into a tangible smartphone, iPhone, and service or deliverable. So this is what is all about project management. Now, when we are talking about project management, it has, I would say, you can say, a triangle is there, and there are three important elements there. First and foremost is the mindset, skill set, and habits. We will talk one by one. Now, mindset is kind of explanatory. You have to have a thought process, how you are able to think. Your critical thinking matters a lot. When you are working on any project, you will have multiple options, right? You will have to go at way one or option B, option C. There are multiple options. You have to use your critical thinking, analyzing is very important. If you don't have analyzing skills, then you have to develop. And analyzing is not a big deal. You have to just see what is the impact on the time frame, on the budgeting, on the scope, or what is the long-term impact it will be having. And thinking on that vision or the long-term vision, you have to choose a way out of that. So critical thinking, it's more like choosing the best path forward. There will be multiple options. It's similar like you see a KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati episode, and you see that the ABCD options are there. So there are 4 options are there. You have to choose the correct one, best possible one in that manner, which can be taken for the project's growth and success in that way. Other thing is a part of in a critical thinking would be to have emotional question, because when you are a part of or when you are leading a project, you are leading a team, a project, a software, or maybe say for example MS Project or a Jira. They won't do the talking, right? They are not the people. You are the project manager, or you are from the PMO team. You are the person who is leading a team. It's more like a you have to manage people. People management is a very important aspect. So when people management comes into the picture, you need to have emotional quotient also. You need to have a EQ, emotional question. You need to think that okay, the people who are with me, or within my team, or how it's something I don't need to be a people pleaser, but at the same time I need to empathize with people. I need to be able to understand what's going in their mind, or what's in their thought, or what is something which is the best. You don't have to be authoritative kind of person that okay, this is what I am imposing, I have said you have to do nothing. Don't have to be a dictator. You have to be more like a person who is a collaborator, who is a more like a coming agreeing to a solution, or who is understanding, who is using active listening, what the person is trying to convey. He's trying to say what is in thoughts, and then reach there. So you need to have that kind of rapport relationships. So if you are a person who don't like to make relationships or work with people, or or is a person like who wants to be like alone, or I don't like meeting people, so then if you want to delve into project management, you need to develop that skill, because it's a very important skill. Without it's more like it's a very, I read a quote somewhere actually by John C. Maxwell. It was something like, okay, you can't lead people without loving them, something like that. It was there. You can love people without leading them, something like, it means that you have to if you have to lead people, you have to understand what are they thinking, you have to be that kind of a keeping in mind the organization's objectives and the project's goal in the frame. You have to kind of balance it out. Next thing, problem solving. Now, problem solving is like self-explanatory. There will be a lot of problems coming up. The day you decide that I have to be a part of project management space, that is when you have to know that you have entered a Pandora's box. There will be a lot of problems like small, big. It can be resource issue, it can be technical issue, it can be client is not providing you sign off, so he's or maybe they are not responding, and you are missing the timelines, you are delaying, there are any risk coming up, there are regulatory requirements coming up, lot many things are there. But at the same time, if there is, I always feel that if there is a problem, there is a solution. If there is a lock, there would be a key also. So if you have that problem solving ability, it's not necessary that you have the answers to everything at the one go, but if you have that knack, okay, I will try to find out, I will discuss, I will find, I will use historic data, or I will use previous things there and try to come up with a solution. That is a problem solving approach which will develop you as a good project manager. Collaboration, team effort, team support, collaboration, that is an important thing. Now, another thing in the mindset is you have to be a outcome focused person instead of task based. Like what people say that what people say that I have given 6 hours into some task, or I have done completed 12 tasks. Now the point is, if those 12 tasks are not giving the tangible output, or they are not quality, they are not having that kind of quality which was expected by the client or the company for that matter. If it is not having, then it is of no use actually. So the outcome has to be, or maybe the output has to be, it has to be tangible, or it has to be effective, efficient in a way. So without that, just doing the task, or maybe just doing for the heck of it, it won't be the good thing there. Then understand the big picture, the why. Anything like you're working, and I hope expecting that people would be from IT sector, most of you there. So when you are working there, suppose you are into a data analyst field, or you are into cybersecurity field, or you are into any other field for that matter, you need to understand some task, or you are into a project. You need to know why it is being done. Okay, something has been assigned to you, you have to clear this Jira ticket. It's not like just for the clearing. You need to understand that, okay, this project is having this picture. Okay, this is kind of, after 6 months or 1 year, when we would deliver that, it will give us this output, and client is what expecting. You need to have that kind of vision. Don't have ask in that way, but don't be just a participant in a way. Then result oriented, that we talked, and leader, getting things done. As a PM, you need to ensure that whatever task is assigned to you or has been given to you. Let me take example for you. For example, there is a customer who wants to make, he's having everything manual. Suppose it's like you would have seen a quick commerce go right now, Blinkit, Instamart, and Zepto and whatnot are there right now. So, but if you talk about 10 years before, maybe 15 years before, the local kirana shops or the local general stores, people used to go there and buy the things there. In that case, suppose somebody wants, like they have a good spaces or good shops there, but they want to move to the online space. They want to make a e-commerce web application, or they want to, and this has been assigned to you or to your team in that case. So you need to have that picture that, okay, there is a 6 months or 7 months time frame is there, what things are being used there, what's the kind of what's the team allocation there, and basically, and then have to get the things done in whatever manner there. Next, so that was the first mindset. Next, out of that triangle which I showed you just a few minutes before, next is the skill set. Now skill set is divided into two things. First is hard skills, and next is the soft skills. Now hard skills is basically knowing what is happening in the project, and knowing what is the tool used, or what are the backend software used, or the front end software is used. For example, therefore the UIX, what is being used there. In that case, it's not expected from management person that you are taking architectural type of decisions, or maybe any technical decision in that way, but it is expected that at least you are aware, or you are able to understand how does the entire process, the workflow is happening in that manner, and how is the tools happening there. Suppose you have Jira tools, or you have different MS project, or you have, for example, your inbuilt uh, tool is there. You must be able to explore how is the things working, having how are the technical design moving, how are the uh, testing done, how is the CI/CD pipeline moving, basic things. But you should be able to be like this. If somebody asks you how was this task being done, and your answer is, oh, it was done by the team, I am not aware fully, yeah, that is not an answer. Nobody is going to ask you, the like encyclopedia, what was A to Z. You are not a solution architect for that. That's not your job. But you should at least know, okay, how is the things moving. Now, soft skills, they are non-negotiable kind of a thing. Without soft skills, it is very, very difficult for let alone project management, let alone PM side, any profession. If I talk, you into race world, especially in the generation of AI, if you don't have the soft skills, you are missing out on everything, I would say. The soft skills are basically, how you are able to communicate, how you're able to effectively connect, how you are able to simplify a complicated communication which has come up. You have to simplify into from the jargons to the common language, so that everybody is able to understand what is being said. Soft skills basically writing the reports, providing in that manner that anybody from the senior management, or maybe from the client side, they are able to understand what you are trying to convey. No fancy language or something like that. Using what's required there, and using your active listening, using your your internal thought process, using your how you are able to communicate effectively. All these things are a part of the skill sets. And rest assured, I would say, everyone, do if anybody is wanting to maybe sometime in future years, or anywhere you are wanting to make a move, that these are the skills which not necessarily you might be having at the moment, right? Let me be very sure, or very clear on that, that it's not necessary that you are having all these skills right now, but it can be developed in the in the times to come. So it's nothing like I don't know, or I can't do that, or somebody else has those things, skills previously, and doesn't matter. You will be, everybody is running their own race, everybody is a part of their own, and you will be able to do that. It's just like you need to have that focused approach. It's more like if somebody I belong to the north side, I'm from the Delhi NCR region, so right now we are transitioning to summer season. So, but when we have the winters, there's a lot of fog is here. When you drive into fog, right, you don't see anything very clearly. So, you don't have to have that fog in your mind. You need to have that clarity. You remove that, and you should be able to know, okay, I have to reach there. I'm not there at the present. I'm at point A. I want to reach at point B. I'm not here yet, but I can reach there. And what's the way and confidence I have, or what's the approach, focus I have, most importantly, and I can do that. Okay. Next things in the hard skills. First thing is the understanding of the technology and the field. You need to understand what's the technology, what's the stack we have discussed just now. The tools for the project management, Jira, Confluence, Asana, MS project, or maybe if you have simple Excel also, that's fine. Don't need to. But the benefit of having these kind of tools is that manual work, lot of manual work is being saved in that manner. You don't need to juggling around the Excel sheet or tabs and whatnot, and then it becomes easier. Like that, integration becomes easier. That's the benefit. Data analysis, decision making, and data driven decision. Like you need to be able to take data driven decisions. For example, analytics. And if you see your, like, people would be using LinkedIn Premium, or LinkedIn Premium for that matter, Facebook, if you see, there is analysis, like how many hours you spent in a day or in a week, what type of things there are, what are your likings, it comes up there. So data driven decision making, you have to take decisions based on that. Then budgeting and scheduling tools, part of that. Technical writing. So technical writing basically means that you should be able to write reports, weekly reports. Reporting is a very important task. So in PM, like stakeholder management, reporting, and governance, these are very important pillars actually. One of that is reporting. Reporting means it can be either from dashboards or it can be from simple. Would have any kind of template in your organization. You need to provide status updates. See, you would be involved in day-to-day activities. The senior management or your project sponsor, for that matter, the person who has funded your project, that person won't be coming and asking you daily, okay, tell me what is happening, tell me what is happening, where are we? That is not his job. He has a lot of other things to do. So it becomes your responsibility that at least once a week or by week, you are able to tell him, okay, this is where we are, this is what we want to achieve, and this is where we are wanting, these are next steps, or this is something where we are delayed, or this is something which we did on time, anything, this in a way. So this is something which you should be in a position to convey by your technical writing skills. And then the visualization tools, everybody are aware on this. Okay, before I move here, I hope everybody is clear. Any questions still here? So feel free to ask me as we can move forward. I can't see the screen because I'm sharing my slides. So if somebody has, so they can unmute and ask, or else we can move forward.
Yeah, Dipanshu, there is a question from Aishwarya that
Okay.
what is budgeting and scheduling tools?
Yeah. So basically, budgeting scheduling tools are like there are different tools in the market. Like what I see, Anaplan tool, recently it came to our company. They have adopted it that. So they are specific for, for costing and budgeting and for tracking. Although it can be done in the different PM tools also, but this is specifically for, because there are a lot of vendor managements happening, procurements happening. So cost side from the, customer to client to vendor, everything, specialized softwares are there. So it's just nothing fancy. It's like new Anaplan age softwares that is on that. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone else? Shall we move ahead, Akriti?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. All right then. So then coming to soft skills. So soft skills, leadership. Leadership, this is something a buzzword everybody would have heard. Leadership. So leadership is basically you need to lead. You have a small army and you are leading that project. So you are a leaders. You are wearing a leader's hat. So leader has to wear that. You have to share the responsibility. And leaders are those people who, although it happens, sometimes opposite in the corporate world, but leaders actually are those people who, when successful, they share the credit, they the credit to the team, or and when it's a failure, they take it on themselves. As it is a example I read in a book actually. I'm not sure how many of you follow cricket for that matter. So when MS Dhoni used to be the captain of the Indian cricket team, so whenever they used to win any big trophy like Champions Trophy or something, what happens there? So the captain used to give that trophy to the most junior, or maybe the not so senior person there, and they used to take it up after when they used to celebrate. They have a good photo there, kind of thing. Everybody's, fireworks are happening, all that. So that trophy is being taken by the not so senior members there. So what it shows that when team is successful, you need to give the credit to the people. So that will give you that will make you a very, people will have a confidence on you. A lot of confidence people will have show on you, and they would like to be with you. They want to be with you. They would be working with you like anything. But at times people are like autocratic, or they are authoritative, and they want to impose, okay, this is what I have say I have done. So maybe or may not, work may or may not get done there, but you won't be able to make a good rapport, or leadership with your team. So that is something example just to show you in that case. Then stakeholder management and communication. Now stakeholder management is a very vast topic. We will maybe in the subsequent sessions we will have an exclusive time frame on stakeholder management as well. But for the time being, just to let you know, stakeholder means like who is a stakeholder, for example. I used to have, in my start of my PM career, I used to think the stakeholders are people only who are the client. So generally it is true actually, but it is not um, factually correct. Stakeholder is anyone who has a stake or who has an interest in the project, can be anyone for that matter. Suppose we talk about there is a banking application, right? Suppose we have a banking application like HDFC banking application is there, or or maybe let's take it up before that. People there before the advent of internet banking, people used to go into long queues in the banks and then deposit money, withdraw money from there, and do all that stuff. There, a lot of time used to be consumed there. But then what happened that somebody used to do the data entry kind of a thing there. Now what happened that automation happened and internet banking and apps and all that launched. Now at the one go of your mobile click or button, it can be done. People who used to do this entry or used to do that input there, those are stakeholders. People who are doing now, the users or the people from the team, they are the stakeholders. So everybody who is connected or indirectly or directly is a stakeholder. Now coming to the other thing important, that in a project there is a variety of kinds of stakeholders in that case. So how you need to kind of prioritize them, what should be your priority level. So somebody has a very high interest but has a low power, or somebody has a low power or high power or low interest, how to tackle with them, we will discuss in some time. But this is what the stakeholder management is all. It's a very important topic because if you don't uh, judge it in a very wise manner, then your project will get affected in a way. Communication mean basically that how the communication flow is happening. Like somebody like a CEO or CFO level, they want just a 4 line or maybe one slide summary of the project. They don't want to go into details. Okay, what's happening? They don't care, or they don't have a time for that matter. But somebody at a middle level, they want to know what's happening in and out. So you need to have that kind of detailed report also. You need to understand what kind of communication you need to cater to a respective stakeholder in that way. So that is also an important thing, critical thing, and we have discussed emotional intelligence is important. Conflict management. Now, conflict management, where is team? Where there is a team, there is a conflicts going to happen. So conflicts are not necessarily bad always. Conflicts, if somebody, suppose if one of the one of the team member is saying that okay, let's use this kind of process, or let's use this software for this, and the other is one is saying no, this version is better. It's not necessarily, if they are not agreeing, doesn't means that they are bad or they are they are not good. It means they are thinking from their point of view what can be good for the project. But now the onus is on you to make them or help them reach to an agreement. There are various conflict management techniques, like collaboration is a technique. Like you have win-win, collaborate. Okay, fine. Mr. A, Mr. B, you have an issue. Okay, fine. Let's discuss and find out the best way forward. We have a discussion and Mr. A is agreeing, Mr. B is agreeing, and then we have a good decision. It's the best way situation, win-win situation. Now there can be a win-lose situation. Now suppose Mr. A is a senior senior architect in a team, and Mr. B is somebody maybe who is a 5 year experienced one, or maybe who is a newbie in that case. And as you as a project manager, you decide no, what Mr. A or who the senior person is saying, I have to go with that. So that becomes authoritative. So win lose, you have imposed one decision and the other one is lost in that way. So that is a win lose. Then what other technique can be there? Suppose there can be example where like there is no agreement, there is no chance. Mr. A is saying no, we can't do this testing right now, we have to solve this bug at the moment. Mr. B saying no, we have to do this. Now there is no consensus happening, there's no agreement happening. So you jump in and say, okay, that we will park it aside for the time being, we are not focusing on that, let's do it later on. So what you have done, you have kind of withdrawal from the situation. So it's a lose-lose situation, because for the time being you have just taken up I would say you have just parked it for the moment, but the problem is not solved. It will come up again, because the just only you have put a cover on that in that case. This is a way in that case. So this is how things happen. Then there can be one situation where same conflicts is happening, but one person he chooses, okay, let me align with what he's saying. I will leave my suggestion just for the sake that project goes move forward, or there is further peace there in that case. So if that is a situation, then accommodation is or maybe that is a way forward in that case. That is also a lose-win situation. So there are many conflict resolution techniques which can be used to ensure that how a conflict is being resolved. But conflicts are inevitable. It will happen when you are working with a team. Sorry. Then negotiation. Negotiation is what? Negotiation is more like you will have vendor management also, right? You will have to connect with vendors. You have to negotiate, bargain with them on the pricing, on the strategies, what to be done in the scope, what's to be covered, what not to be covered. Negotiation will happen at any point of time, right? It will be happening. Okay, it has to be delivered in 5 weeks. No, we have to get it done in 3 weeks, or okay, let's find a middle way. Let's do it in 4 weeks. Okay, fine. So it will happen you have to keep the project's requirement and the success at the paramount level. Nothing to compromise on that in that case. So negotiation will happen. You need to be a good negotiator in that case. It will come with practice. It's not necessarily, as I said, to happen on the day one. But if you are into that mode or into that environment, you will get it. All right. So this is the third level of that triangle. This is the habits. Habits, it's like clear communication. So clear communication is like transparent. You have to be very transparent in your communication, right? You need to be, I would say, very open. Many projects fail actually because the communication is not clear, or it is not apt. The right set of people are not knowing the right level of information at the right time. Right. It is very important. You need to escalate to your management. You need to escalate to your senior management. Do it at the right time. If a baby is not, crying, or a crying baby, in other words, I would say a baby who cries will only get the milk. If you are not escalating, keeping the facts to yourself, that will be not good for the project. Another aspect, I always say that there is a clear communication. There is also a clever communication. Suppose you are working on a project where the client or the stakeholders, they are from a country where English is not their first or primary or main language there. Like we had this thing in Japan, English is not that language there. So they prefer Japan and China. Same thing is there. Although they are improving, but still they are quite far in that manner. So now suppose you are working in a project, you are using your jargons, your English, your spoken English in that manner, but the person who is listening to you, the client or the stakeholder, he's not understanding. Maybe he's interpreting in a different manner. Maybe the project is on track, and what he interpreted by your words or by your language, that okay, it is delayed, or so that is something which has which has got off the track actually. So you need to use sign language, or you need to use effective or clever communication by mails, or by by some kind of ensure the task is not to speak English, right? So what people confuse that English, no, task is not to speak the English. Task is to convey the message in a crisp, clear and transparent manner, that what you are understanding or what you are wanting to make him understand, he is able to understand that. So that clear communication is a very important aspect. Then next, risk management. Now risk management is also a very big topic. It is something which happens throughout the project. Now risk is something proactively you have to define risk in the project. It can be, suppose you are working on suppose let's take a construction project. Construction project is happening, and regulatory requirement came from the government that okay, no, it is a green zone, or maybe it is a zone where ecological habitat is there and it can't be hampered or something. So you have to adhere to that, and understand that okay, how to ensure that it's to be done. Or suppose there is issue, or maybe the vendor, he gives you intimation, okay, due to global war, Ukraine or Russia war, the supply chain is being affected and we won't be able to provide you the raw material, whatever has been contracted in the procurement there. You have to be ready with that. Okay, fine, I have to be you have to plan in a way. So risk management basically is that you have to brainstorm with the team. what can be the probable risk, you have to plan, okay, if this risk happens, if it doesn't happen, then it's fine. But if it happens, then what would be, the response? It should not be like, okay, it happened, I was not prepared. So you can't, and I know that you can't do for each and every risk. For example, COVID-19 happened, that COVID came, nobody was aware of that, but that's fine. There can be situations like this, but for the majority, or at least for higher part of the risk, we should be in a position to prioritize. You can take the help of previous projects or retrospective previous ones, or discuss with the people there used up. This is an important job actually, because if you are able to protect your projects from risk, or maybe if risk happens, you are ready, well prepared with that. Okay, if the rain is coming, I have my umbrella with me, but I don't know rain is coming, I have no umbrella also. Correct, right? So yesterday, suppose Holi was played, and in here in NCR side rain happened. Suppose people were not prepared and they had no umbrella, so they would be drenched in the water. What I mean to say from the example, that you have to plan. If suppose rains doesn't happen, no need for the umbrella, but it does happen, then you should be having that risk response plan. Now there are mitigation strategies, there like strategies, that is also a different topic. You can avoid, you can transfer, you can you can implement. We will talk about that. Then time management. Time management is a important topic there. You have to manage the time. Okay, there's a timeline, or maybe you have to track on a basis that, okay, how you are able to, is there variance, or you are getting delayed, you are on time. Sometimes a project gets under the schedule, or they gets before time, but if it is, then it's very good actually. But if not, then at least try to be on the track, or maybe minimum kind of a delay, so that tracking to be done. Same with the budget and expenses, and then goals focused. Now the project, as we discussed the definition, so the technical definition is also there. A project is a set of interdependent tasks that is leading to a common goal. Like there is a common goal, there is a objective behind that project happening. Let's suppose objective can anything, like somebody wants to streamline their financial reports from spreadsheets. They want to make it in a financial planning software and do it in a more accurate manner. So that can be a goal. They want to reduce the process time from what it takes for example, takes 15 days. They want to make it in 2 days. The process time has to be reduced. The accuracy they wants to improve. There's a lot of errors coming up. That can be a goal for that initial goal. Now, project can have following characteristics. Now, this is something which is on a high level, but that sums up the thing, that there is a clear start and end date for a project. There is a start date and there is an end date. Now, many of you are confused, between what happens in a project and operations. For example, suppose say I asked a question to one of a person, that, and I asked him that, okay, what is the end date of your project? And he said, there is no end date actually. It is a regular work and we do it, and like we have to do that. And he said that he was in a project, but that is not true actually. He's not working in a project, he's working in operations. Operation is something which is which is happening without any start and end date. It is just happening, because it has to happen, it is happening. A very basic example, let's take it up. If somebody is making breakfast, lunch and dinner, there's no start date, end date, there's no scope defined, it's doing daily regular, like it's not a project, it's an operation. But if somebody is planning a birthday party, right, like you have planned, okay, after whenever it's your birthday, I will plan this, I will throw a party for that, I will have decoration, I will have buffet, I have dinner, I have enjoy like anything, I will have celebration, will have entertainment things there, I will have a photographer, whatever. That it is for a fixed duration. It is a temporary endeavor. It is going to close, and it is not ongoing always there. That is a project. Now creates a new endeavor. Any project will be either a new product or service, or it will be a refinement of the current process, like any UI UX enhancement is there. So right now, what the dashboard or the KPIs or whatever is being thing, it is like, it is not very nice or effective in a way. that has to be revamped. So that is can be a project, that's fine. It can be a shorter timeline project, but it's still a project, but it will close in some way. Or a new product or a new service is being created for that thing. So that is a project there in that manner. Smart goals. Smart goals basically mean it should be specific. There should be a specific goal. Okay, fine. This is what is the project is. I need to create a mobile application for this client, and they want this to be in an effective, streamlined in a very nice manner, and it should be very running like very smoothly. That can be a specific, measurable. It can it be measured? Can I measure this? Like, can I measure how many users are using that, or how many people are downloading the app, or how many people have given their reviews on that? It can be measured, right? If it cannot, then it's not that. It is achievable. Yeah, it is achievable, whatever time frame has been set up. Reliable, yeah, it is reliable or not. Time bound, there is a targeted for that. So it has to be smart goals. Then can set up boundaries. Now, what does it mean actually? Set up boundaries means that you have anything in your scope and it is out of scope. It is a very common term, scope, people use in project management. What does scope mean? Scope means that what I am going to do in scope and what is outside the scope. The boundary has to be there, right? Suppose if any task, whatever we have decided a task, or maybe suppose in this web application, we will have these many things. We will have we will use this tech stack, or we will use we will have these many options for the project launching, or this is where user and password would be putting up. This is the admin panel or all that. This is what. But somebody comes up, no, I would like to have 3 different types of admin panels. He comes up. This is not in your original scope. That is out of scope. It has to be tackled differently. That is again a separate change request process happens there, change management happens there. But that is not a part of their current scope. That is something which is important. You need to be able to understand what can be done, what cannot be done. If you are not able to say no at the right time, or if you say yes to every request which is coming from the client's end, then your project will be a disaster. I'm telling you, because client's mentality is that, okay, fine, I'm paying the money, then I'm paying the money for 5, I need to get 10 things done. He will have that mindset. But you need to use your negotiation or communication skills and let him know that, okay, why or why not it can be done. You cannot say that no, I will not do. That doesn't work. You need to have a proper justification for that. You need to tell him, okay, fine, thanks for your request. I will have to analyze and see that, okay, if we if we incorporate this request, my 4 days of the time, or maybe 6 days of the project time will increase, and I will have to charge you for $1,000 more. In that case, are you okay? Now client has to decide if he's okay or not. Or he said, no, I can't give you extra, but I want this feature. Then you have to bargain in a way or negotiate in a way that, okay, fine. If you want this to be prioritized or this to be added in the backlog, then fine. This is something which one of the items, or these are the items which we need to deprioritize. That, are you okay with that? So then client will understand, okay, what does he actually mean, and how does it actually impacting the project time frames and the project actual anything, budget, scope, or costing, everything. Accordingly, a decision has to be taken. So what I means that before action, you need to analyze there in that case. Okay, fine. Coming to the topic of project versus operations. Now, project, it has a fixed definitive budget, and operation, it doesn't have a budget. As I mentioned, for example, HDFC banking app, you receive messages, right? I receive messages at the time. Okay, fine. On a particular day, 12 a.m. to 2 p.m. 2 a.m. the project app, this banking app won't be working, and because we have regular maintenance or whatever. So this is something which has been set up there. Okay, maintenance happening, issues are coming. It is ongoing. It will never end there in that case. And there is also not fixed budget. There can be issue. There might not be an issue. You can't define a definitive budget also for that. Goals: result in a service product, just sustain the system, as we mentioned. Time: they are a fixed lifeline. Project has to end. Regular ongoing task. It will maintenance task. It will keep on happening. Value high, value low in that case. Fine. Why is a project needed? Project is needed to solve problems. Projects can be initiated to solve problems based on existing applications or outcomes or other projects. Like suppose you have existing application, you need to revamp or you need to improve that. In that case, you need to bring a better version there. Suppose there was SQL 6 version happening and you need to improve and make it SQL 7. That can be a project. Internal project, data migration can happen there. Anything. Basically solving or improving, that is the idea. Services for industry. Service include items such as customer service claims, utility audits, employee assistance, or maybe as I mentioned, mobile app, application, database, or new dashboard. Everything can be a service. Creating new projects or new products. A project can be initiated to create a new product. For example, display ads on social media. Also, a single product like Facebook had a lot of internal projects. What I mean from this, that suppose Facebook is a product, right? Now Facebook all of a sudden it didn't came up. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg thought, okay, I will make Facebook. Today I thought, tomorrow it's ready. No, it has lot of interconnected projects. Lot of mini or small or whatever kind of project, which when aggregated, they made a product called Facebook. Now, maybe if somebody can, if they want to answer, just a open question. Can somebody think, like let's take a Facebook example, what can be the different projects within that product which helped to make that product very effective in today's world? Or maybe Instagram, what can be the different projects within that way? Can somebody can unmute if they want, and I will anyways answer, but just want to connect with anyone. Just think, what can be just to make this product, what can be the kind of internal projects happening on that? Anyone, any kind of thing. There is no right or wrong answers. Don't think that anybody would be judging. Doesn't matter. If you are wanting to answer, feel free.
Yeah, hello Dipanshu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Abhishek this side. So maybe I'll take the example of Instagram. So maybe a number of users who are currently working, like will take the data sets from the MTD level data sets. So we'll come to the projects as how many active users on Instagram on day-to-day basis, like a week-wise active users, Instagrams and all. How many are uninstalled and how many, like bifurcation of the gender-wise, how many male females are using. Second thing, and third thing is parameters point of view. Then like which regions or which state has more number of users. So we'll come to demographic, yeah, that kind of maybe the things. And we'll collect the data source from the XYZ data source to build a dashboard.
Yeah, very good. That's fine. Kind of a project, that's a kind of project. Just think, what can be the difference? Making the main Facebook or Instagram app was a project. Now that web application was a project, mobile app was a project. Then planning the how to put up on the cloud or data migration or putting on a server, that is a project, right? The security aspect, the encryption, that is a project in that manner. The marketing research or analytics that Abhishek was also saying, the demographic or changing the dashboard, that is a project. So there are a lot of projects happening, which we accumulate to make a product which we just see as a final output. But there is a lot of happening in the back space actually. Just as an example to make you ponder how does the project works happen actually. Okay. Then simplifying technology, like basically system upgrade or lifecycle management, that is also a task there. All right. How are projects identified, and and what's basically that's the extension of the previous slide. Solving a problem within an organization, suppose manual to automate, that you would have understand. Market relevant. Now, suppose when Facebook came initially, or maybe not long ago, maybe a couple of years back, there was no concept of reels or happening or something. But then TikTok came. It was a competitive kind of innovation they had to take up. And it was more like reels. Short people were into T20 mode. People don't want to watch the 50-over match or test matches. They want to see the 2020 quick. I don't have time. I just want to just okay, quick. Then TikTok came, 1 minute or 30 seconds or whatever reel came, and it was fine. Then Facebook had to innovate that just to stay relevant in the market, or for that matter, Instagram is a product of Facebook only, Meta only. They had to do that. Now recently what I was just thinking today only, and then I put up that example in point number C. If you see, in the apps, if you see, there is Zepto. If there is a app, a quick commerce app, there is an option of Zepto Cafe. I was thinking, why did they launch it? Now, now they were trying to compete with Zomato, in the same. So they launched a 10 minutes food delivery app. It was not 10 minutes grocery delivery is a different thing, but 10 minutes food delivery, they wanted to cater to that market. Now, then I saw that there is a district app coming up. There is a district app from Zomato. What does it? Does it like booking and what the task done by Book My Show? It is the same thing which is done by district. Now, Zomato wanted to expand its market base or users there, so they launched this thing. So just an example to show you that if they want to expand, they want to stay relevant, they want to be competitive, they want to don't go out of the market, these can be done in a way. For example, if you would have seen that 20 years back or 20 years back, there used to be a camera called Kodak. Kodak, people used to have that time, it was like first to click that, and then the photos for that you have to go to a photography studio, and then the negatives came up, and then photo was developed. Everybody would have, their parents would have albums there. Now in today's world, people seldom have the albums because they use it in the mobile and and save there. But before that, used to have the albums. Kodak was a very big player in that market. Or for that matter, Nokia or BlackBerry was a very big player, but they didn't, when the situation changed. It's a disruptive world, right? It's a VUCA world. It's like volatility, uncertainty, complex, or you don't know, and ambiguity is there. You don't know what can happen there in that case. You need to reinvent the wheel actually, but they didn't change, and then since they were not able to change themselves, they were out of the market in spite of having the majority staking there in that case. So you need to have the projects to stay relevant in the market or to develop them. Fine. Next, external problems, mandatory regulations. Government has made some leaking compliance or regulatory has to be done. Scope for improvement, as is to be, there is some effort to be done, moving to be, that needs to be done. For a business goal, growth, engagement, monetization, to stay, to be in a business against a competitor. That's how the projects are identified. Now, there is something which you can see on the screen. This is something which is a question I will ask you. Fine. So if you see in the bar chart in the graph here, actually, that suppose a project, they had an initial costing estimation of $7 million, and it was the initial estimate. But actually it came out to be as $102 million. It was way up, way high. Cost was over budget. Timeline was expected 4 years, it took 14 years. Now, you tell me, anyone, that can we regard this as a project, or shall we not regard it as a project? Anybody can answer this thing. Is it a project or not? Yes, no, anybody? Abhishek, you answered the last question.
Yeah, Dipanshu. So I think so in this project has as what I figured from the project definition is it has a start date and end date. So in this picture, I'll come to know the expected value in the bar chart, which is being project cost million, is way high, as you said, is very well said. So I'm according to me, I'm a little bit like what is like end date for this. So the answer of your question, according to me, it's a project or not. So according to me, I think so it's not.
Okay.
Because the end date is not being mentioned, and if its end date is there, then like it's what is
I
the
understood what you're trying to say. Got it. Fine. Yeah. In a way, partially you are right. Although it is not a successful project, it's a disaster, it's a failure project, but still is a project because they had planned a started and ended, although it got delayed, right? There was something they wanted to do in say 4 years, but it got delayed, and became over budgeted and took more time from that. So it is an example of project failure. And do you know, guys, what is this all about? When I will tell you, this is an example of a very iconic milestone. People want to go there and take selfies and all that things, put on the reels. I will just show you. If you see, this is a Sydney Opera House. This is an example of Sydney Opera House. So it was a failure project that time. It took a lot of money, a lot of time, and I'm sure the Australian government would have taken lessons from that because they had they had scope but not very clearly defined, which made people confused and not clear on that. There were a lot of lessons to be done, but the end result was this project in that case. Okay, next example. This is a My Government portal, by Government of India. Is it a project? Anybody? Like, do you think it is a project or it's not a project or operation? What do you think? This one, Abhishek, or anyone else? Abhishek is answering. I want others also participate.
Yes, sir, it is a project.
Okay, great. It's a project. Fine. Now, it is a project and a successful one because it's one of the biggest service portals in India. Now, it is important thing is that there are a lot of services here. If you see, it doesn't, a project doesn't mean that you have to launch everything in one go. It can be in parts, it can be in small bits and pieces. It can be one at a time, second at a time, third at a time. It can be in that manner in that case. So it is a project and a successful one. Now, the next item. FIS is a very global leader in financial service technology. They have signed a contract to maintain a feature online banking app, a yearly contract for a team of 12 people, and they want to fix any issues if they come up. Now, is this a project or is it's not a project?
It's not a project.
Right. It's not
Yeah,
a
because it's
project.
maintaining something. It's like service.
Correct.
Banking. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not a project, it's an operation, has no end date, no defined scope. It's ongoing work, like it will keep on happening for eternity. There is nothing, there is no scope also, issues and on that thing. This is an example just to demarcate between project and operations. Okay, then next we move to triple constraints of a project. Now, project has 3 triple constraints like scope, cost, and time. And of course, quality is something which is paramount, which is everybody's responsibility. These things, any change in one of the item will impact the other 2. If there is a change in scope, it will impact the cost, it will impact the time. If change in time, it will impact cost and scope. Change in cost, scope and time will be impacted in that case. Understanding scope. Let's understand what's the scope all about. Scope is what and why. Understand the need and how the project will fulfill that need. Define the project objectives, deliverables, and the boundaries. Basically, the objectives, what are the deliverables to be done, what are the boundaries to be set, specifically what the project aims to achieve. That is all the scope. What's in, as I told you, what's in boundary, what's outside the boundary, what's in scope, what has to be out of the scope. That has to be very clearly defined and in a way. Now, a question can come up in someone's mind that, okay, who has to do this thing? Does a project manager or a PMO team person has to do this scoping part, or no? That for that you have a name. You have to be a master of delegator. You have a team for that. You have a business analyst team, you are a business team or a product manager for that. They have to gather those requirements and bring it into this thing which can be defined. We have to ensure that process is being done smoothly. And if there impediments are there, you need to remove those in that case. Project scope. Now, defining the project goals, objectives, collect the project requirements. Now, what's the goals and objectives or the requirements, the deliverables? What are we going to give them as an output? What is going to be the deliverable there in that case? Assumptions. The project team have to assume that, okay, there would be a server there would be a Wi-Fi connectivity there would be office space there. These are the assumptions to be made in that case. Suppose if there is no basic connectivity thing, then how the things should be done? Everything has to be assumed. Assumptions are there, put up in there. Exclusions, which are what cannot be done or why it cannot be done in the same thing. Milestone are the important bench or highlights there where we have reached in the project. And the scope baseline is the final verified version, like which is something which has been, everything has been put up there. Activities, what are the things in the scope? They have point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has been verified with the sponsor, with the team there, and then final scope version is called scope baseline. Then understanding time and schedule. Time is basically when are the different deliverables and the timelines. Define all the tasks and activities needed for the project's goals. It specifies what the project can be completed in that way or by when can be done. So this is what in the timing and the schedule. It has to be further tracked in the schedule and the variances are there or not, but this is what we talk about the planning part. Then project schedules, you need to add buffers for schedule. Suppose somebody is on leave or somebody is on or maybe somebody falls sick and you have a timeline to deliver something in 5 days. Somebody is sick, now it can't be done on the 5th day. It has to be moved. So that you have to take a buffer of say 1 day or 2 day, keep it on. So make it already a timeline of 7 days in that manner. Okay, 7 days. If we will try to finish in 5. If not, then at least 7 we have to and or finish. That buffer has to be there. Estimate the time needed for completing the task. The timing for completing that has to be there. Discuss with the team. Estimation has to be, I'm not saying accurate, but at least near accurate. Okay, based on the previous similar project, this can be done this way, or this is how adding the buffer. Then starting by breakdown into tasks, that is a work breakdown structure. Then understanding cost budgeting, how we are spending in a way, cover all the cost at will that direct. Now, in the cost, direct and indirect, two kind of costs are there. Say you have a birthday party, right? So if we talk about direct cost can be in a fashion that you have a venue, you have the dinner options there, you have something for entertainment, you have set up some program on entertainment, you have brought some some singer like Diljit Dosanjh is coming on a birthday party, right? But that is a direct cost. Now indirect cost can be to have that entertainment to happen. You need to use cab, right? Or you need to use flight to meet him, his manager, whatever. There, so 2-3 tips. So that is an indirect investment and indirect cost, I would say, that is to be taken. For from, let's take from a software purpose, like you have to develop a kind of application there. That is a direct fine, direct cost. But you need to have a office space there. The rent for that is going where team is going to work. That is an indirect cost. So in short, there are direct and indirect costs happening in a project. More on project budget. Estimate who will be responsible for the task and how much time is needed. Estimate the need for completing the task and contingency and reserve budget that we will discuss maybe in further session. That is a different topic also. Contingency is more like, just to tell you, brief you, it's more like for known risk. That is a 10%, around 10-15%, which is happened, which is to be added as a buffer there, and management reserve is from the management side. They added from their self. Suppose if there is some untoward thing or unplanned thing happening, it can be utilized for that. Now, constraints management, scope, time and cost. Establish a clear project scope. Set clear objectives to manage stakeholder expectations. The scope has to be there. It has to be signed off. It has to be understood. Stakeholders must understand. The understanding, okay, this will be done. It should not be after the entire project, or maybe once we are sitting in the review, that okay, no, I was thinking that you will make it something different, or that shouldn't be there. Scope has to be, or the requirements has to be very clearly communicated, and everybody has to be on the same page in that manner. Effective scope management, change control for effective managing project goals. As a change of, there is something which is out of scope, or which is something out of not in the current scope, how to raise that change request, how to manage that, how to get it analyzed, reviewed, to be or not to have, good to have, must to have. That is a part of the change management separately. Time, optimize time and timelines, realistic estimates for better time management to review that time, develop. We have to ensure that the meeting trackings, what we are doing, we are able to do the timing, and same will happen for the costing part as well. Now, stakeholders. We talk about stakeholders, as we discussed, anybody who has an interest in the project, or who is a part of the project, or is impacted by the project, he or she will be a stakeholder. Any outcomes like project team, business units, management, vendor, clients, they would be a part of the stakeholders. Now, internal within your organization, external outside your organization can be there. There can be internal stakeholders, can be external stakeholders. Now, this is a matrix just to show you that there can be people basis on interest of stakeholders and the influence and the power of stakeholders. If you see that there would be people who have high power and high interest, like your project sponsor, who has high power also. He has approved your budget, and he has authorized your project to take place. He is there for you, and he has a high interest also. He wants to know where are we, what are we doing. So you have to engage him closely. You have to keep him updated by by meetings, or by mails, or by reports, and you have to ensure he's an important player for you. Now, there can be people who have high power, but they have lower interest, like C-suite people, like CFO, CEO. They have very high power, but they have low interest. There are hundreds of projects can happen in a company. They don't have the time to know what is happening in all the hundreds of them, but they have very high power, so you need to keep them satisfied. Okay, fine. If they have any task, or if they have also let me know a summary of how is happening, or let me have a quick call, you have to keep them satisfied in that manner. Then there can be low power, low interest people, like people can be there who have low power, who have no interest also. We have just ensure that, okay, like they can be minimum, some junior person kind of there is low power, no interest, low interest there. You have to just minimal effort, keep them, monitor them. Then there can be people like low power but high interest are there. They are very interested there. They are they want to. So you have to keep them informed. You have to show your consideration. You have to keep them informed. It can be some mid-level person from the team, or like they don't have the decision-making power, but they have high interest in the project whereabouts and the success. So you have to ensure that. Okay. Now let's review a use case for that manner. In that case, now project planning for a tech conference within an organization. Now this is a use case, just to define. An important thing which is also coming to my mind, like when you are doing the scope, just as we discussed, you have to ensure that as you are putting up the time frames or the timelines there, or you have to agree to a realistic kind of a timeline. If some task has to be done or can be done in 20 days, and you agree that no, it can be done in 5 days, it will be a project failure. Right. So you have to ensure that what is that you are saying yes and what is that you are saying no. Because once you lock in, or once you prove that, then you have to adhere to that. Any other assumption, whatever, has to be done while in the planning, or you have to bring up that viewpoint while you are planning in that part. Okay, coming back here on the use case, suppose there is a going to be a technology conference in your organization. The topic of the conference is AIization, and you are assigned as a project manager. Now you have to define the scope. To think, like there is a conference going to happen, topic is AIization, and there is a technology conference. You are the PM, you have to define the scope. What will you do? Now, if you see, AIization or technology conference word itself is not giving us any clear meaning. Like it's giving us the meaning, I would say, but it is not telling us what are the contents or what is going to happen in that project internally. So how to define that? So for that to define, you need to use project. You have to think with the team, discuss with the team, the questions. You have to ask questions, the project objectives and deliverables, why of project, and the expected outcomes. Basically, what is the reason? Why are we having this conference? What is the purpose behind? It's just for knowledge sharing, or it is for sealing the partnership deals, or like sales, leadership. We are using this thing. What are we basically doing that leads, or that there Azure conferences or a lot of things happening there for, they are for sales leads also. So you need to have that why, a proper why has to be there. Then tangible deliverables, what will the participants get? Like we will get recording sessions, or the whiteboards, white paper, sorry, and the pens there would be there. And what is the target number of attendees in that case? And how many people would be attending? Suppose there are 500 people coming up, and you have to arrange the lunch and breakfast for those, then budget will go very high in that case. You need to be aware of that. For the key topics and the tracks and to be covered, that you have to be aware. In project constants, a time frame, the planning and the actual event, the budgeting, the location, it has to be in version or in person. Basically, it has to be in a conference hall, or it has to be virtual, like with Zoom with 1000 invites, or it has to be hybrid in that case. Or the target audience, like it is for internal employees, it's for industry professionals, for clients, that has to be also seen. And project boundaries, content focus area within AI, or what's the basically the what we are talking about AI, and we can't bring in supply chain here, right? It is something which is out of the focus there. This is something which we can brought in. We have to ensure that the conference stays on the track. What's the topic? It stays on the agenda in that way. The geographic reach, we have to keep it in for the local offices, for corporate offices, or maybe for multiple countries, has to be seen. Internal versus external speakers has to be managed, and stakeholder teams, you need to be aware of that. Yeah. So this is what we have discussed. This is till now. And yeah, so we have covered a lot many things. I hope you would have got a good idea of how the things work. And I have a homework for you. Just maybe you can take this thing as an activity for practice. That suppose you have your mama's birthday coming up, and you have to plan, execute, you know, a birthday for celebration for your mom that reflects the guest honor preferences and like how many guests on whatever, and brings together people friends for the occasion. It's a overview thing, right? So what's to be done, you have to define a project scope statement, just like we did for the tech conference. You should include what is in scope, what is not, what are the mama's preferences, what are how many number of guests, when, where, what theme, maximum budget, all that. So you need to define that. Just think on that, and maybe in the next session when we come up, maybe somebody has, if you know, if you have work, you can just let us know. We will have 5 minutes at the start of the session, and we can discuss this, and you would be able to know how to define actually a project scope, how the scope baseline is defined. You will get this particular preference in that case. So yeah, so that was it from my end for today, and yeah, thank you all for your attentiveness and time, and from my end. Okay, any question if anybody has, they can ask, or maybe I will see my time. If you are interested, if you liked, and then we will have a further session also. But before that, I just want to know how was the session, Abhishek and others, just to know your feedback. How did you like? If anything, if you want to say, I would just, you know, a couple of people
Yeah.
would know your
Yeah. Hi, sir. Yeah. Hi, Dipanshu.
Hi.
Yeah, so the session is very helpful. It's everything, honestly, it's everything is new for me. Like starting from how exactly the project management is I heard that word most of the times. I'm currently working as a data analyst. So I've heard that word project management, but what exactly the parameters in the project management, what is the plan, scopes, what kind of a data, like what is the like thought process would be. This is like very helpful for us. And the slides that you make and the efforts that you showcase from your, it's like, thank you so much. I have some queries. Can I ask you uh, if you have a time? I have like two, three queries in my real-time projects.
Okay.
So first query, sir, is basically regarding I'm currently working, let's say, for example, accounts payable dashboard and the vendor reconciliation dashboard. So the end user is basically the team leader and the SLT members, senior leadership team. In which the currently in first point in accounts payable dashboard, I have everything made in the Excel, made the everything in Excel dashboard, and now the agenda is I need to make everything in Power BI. So I need to catch everything which is in SQL. I have to connect that in Power BI. So for example, the point is basically start date and end date. So can you please let me know how can I define my start date and end date? For example, in Excel, I've required, let's say, for example, 1 week. So starting from data gathering, data cleaning, data manipulation, and data visualization. But in this case, I'm also not sure how we can, because firstly, I need to make sure that in SQL, what is, let's say, for example, we have a 20 columns in Excel. I need to make sure that which column is coming from which table in SQL. Then I make the list, and then I can connect that to in Power BI. Power BI visualization, it's okay, but connection, and it's not about that. It's coming all the way from one data source. It's coming from Excel. It's coming from SQL. It's coming from NAV software, or it's coming from different. So can you please let me know how can I give the start date and end date to the management team? First question. And the second question is regarding I require the sign off from the team leader and SLT member for that project. Then only I can send it to the SLT members. So the question is, if, for example, I made the project, everything, I showcased this to my team leader, and I'm waiting for the sign off, and I have to submit it within the 6 days. But as of now, I have not received the sign off from the team leader. I asked them, hi Abhishek, this sir, can you please look at this report? I just need your sign off, and I have to forward this to my SLT members. But that individual team leader is saying that, okay, just give me a time, Abhishek. I'm stuck with this some other work. I'm not please give me, critical work night now, and I can show it to you tomorrow. But then also I'm not received a reply. So how to deal with that situations? Thanks.
For your second situation, what you can do that maybe you can ask him for a 15 minutes or 30 minutes one-on-one session, right? Maybe sometime next week or whenever he's available. Ask him that, sir, we can, if you're not getting time to review it, maybe people have 10 emails coming up and they don't have the time. So you can ask him that, sir, if whenever you are comfortable, can we have a short connect and give him a quick overview, right? Review with him. This is what I am thinking. Maybe if he has any suggestion to give up or any feedback to give up, that also can be incorporated, right? That would be helpful for you. And ask him that, okay, this is what I am thinking, and this is something which I have my thought process there, and you have any feedback. And if he's okay, then he will obviously give his approval. And if he doesn't, then you need to incorporate those feedbacks and accordingly take that session discussion. So many a times what happens, that is a common scenario. People don't have the time, or maybe if they do have, they have other priorities to manage with. So what they try to basically do, that you should be in a position to do that. You should try to have a face-to-face meeting with him, or if not face-to-face, at least have virtual Zoom call or whatever Teams call there, and discuss the same thing. Coming to your first question, like for any activity, we have to we have to go from bottom to up. Basically, any activity. I will just take a simple example. For the birthday party, you will get a better understanding there. Like suppose you don't know what's the like how much duration will it take. So you have to set up the activities, like for lunch or dinner you have 1 hour or 2 hours there, or maybe for the main celebration entertainment performance 2 hours there, 1 hour for the initial speeches and all discussion with the family members, and then total 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 6 hours is what is the time of the entire duration. Similarly, so one connection, how much time it is taking, that's approximate thing, and how much will it take. So again, it has to be a high level estimate. How much will it take for say 200 connection or 200 sheets transfer to be done. So that is something you need to analyze based on the experience. Other thing which you can do is you can take expert opinion. Maybe what does it mean, that you can connect with someone in your company or maybe in your known, that who would have worked in a similar kind of a dashboarding work there, and you can discuss with him, and this is okay, this is what I am taking. Is there any session? I think it will take around maybe 3 days of work or 5 days of work. What is what I think? What do you think it will take? Maybe he has something, he can think of some angle to suggest, this can take one like day extra. You have not accounted for final connections to the for the data migration or transfer in that case happening there. And just for example for you to understand, and while you can accumulate all that timing activity, and you will come up with the estimate based on the number of hours. It can be 1 week, it can be 2 weeks, and 3 days. Ensure that whatever time you are coming up, ensure 1 or 2 days extra you add on that. Suppose you yourself got sick, or you yourself are not well, or someday. So that time has to be incorporated, right? You never know, and what can happen there in that case. Just to add 1 or 2 days extra to that, and that timing estimate, then you can imply based on that. So this is what I used to do generally, breaking my activities. What I have done, I think it will take 1 hour or half an hour. It will, okay, 100 things to be done. Okay, around 60 hours. Okay, so around 10 days of man effort, or maybe 8 days of effort. It will require, okay, 2 hours more. Okay, fine, 11 days or 2 weeks, and then just validate with someone from senior if he has time, or maybe if somebody's from my same manager in the same department, just check with him, and then finally put up those numbers and then apply to that. So, and start date is something. This is what about the end date. Start date is something which you need to check with them. What is the priority? When do they want actually? When do they want to start it? It's something, if they want it at a priority basis, so you have to start say by Monday. They want, no, it can be we want it to be started. There's something you need to check the person who has asked you to take this task. When are they wanting? Suppose you have worked upon, and they and the management wants to have it after 6 months. Then what's the use of you putting up the effort now and waiting for the 6 months, right? Just an example. You need to have that bind from that. And this is how you will be able to put up the start and end date for that. I hope that answers.
Yes, agreed, sir. Agreed, definitely, answer. Just a thing, basically, in your first point, I clearly agreed with, and the second point, just wanted to know. As I said, like I'm planning to like interact with that individual on a team. He's a team leader. He's managing India Pacific basically, and he's a team leader for, let's say, for example, asset management and the accounts payable. I already pinged that, and that individual told me that he's on, like, he'll let you know tomorrow. And just for my understanding, and he's on currently on leave since last 4 to 5 days, so due to holy leaves and something. And I need to deliver that project on before, let's say, for example, on upcoming Thursday, after his approval.
So first thing is, see, your work will come later, right? Approval, you said after his approval.
Yes,
after
yes. I'm awaiting her approval actually.
right. So before, if he is not approving by Thursday, say, you can't do anything, correct?
Okay, okay, okay.
You can't do anything. Like if you can't start the work if you have not got the approval for the work, correct?
I
If
agree,
you
yes.
if you start it, then and if something gets wrong, people will come after you like anything. Why did you work on that? You had no permission on that. How
Got it.
on a lighter note, how dare you? Just to yeah,
Okay,
just to on a,
yeah,
on a, on a joking mode. But what I mean to say basically that you can't move ahead without the approval in that case. So that is not
okay.
your tension. That is their
Okay,
problem in
okay.
that case.
And should I like wait for like, for example, on Monday, upcoming Monday, I'll reach out
Wait.
with
You
them.
said that he's on leave, na? And wait
Okay,
for.
yeah, he is reaching on Monday. Then I have to again, if not replying, I like started replying on emails one on one.
Wait till Monday end of the day, or at least
Okay,
give him a day, and
got
then
it,
connect with him on Tuesday.
got it. Sure. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, yeah. All right then. I think then that we are okay. Okay, I have got a couple of feedbacks from Akshay and Madhushi. Okay, thanks all. Okay, fine. So you would be happy to have next session, series 2 session also, everyone?
Yes, Deepanshu.
Okay, fine. All right, we'll plan for that also. And if time permits, then I will tell Akriti of time when can we have that. Okay, all right then. Thank you all for your time, and let's connect in the next session. Happy Holi to everyone again.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, happy weekend to all of you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Deepanshu ji.